Minneapolis woman killed by ICE agent sparks outrage, protests and investigation. A 37-year-old Minneapolis woman identified as Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agent on January 7, 2026, during a federal immigration enforcement action in the city, authorities and witnesses confirmed. The fatal incident has ignited public outrage, protests in Minneapolis and demands for accountability from local and national leaders. Good, a U.S. citizen originally from Colorado and mother of three, had recently moved to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area with her partner and young son. Family members and acquaintances described her as a compassionate mother, poet, writer and artist who was not known to be involved in any confrontations with law enforcement. Circumstances of the shooting. The shooting occurred in South Minneapolis during what the federal government described as a large-scale immigration enforcement operation, involving hundreds of immigration and customs enforcement officers. According to federal authorities, Good attempted to drive her vehicle toward agents in a manner they described as threatening, prompting an officer to fire at her vehicle. However, bystander video footage and eyewitness accounts released in the aftermath challenge elements of the federal narrative. The recordings show Good's vehicle maneuvering on a snow-covered street, but do not clearly indicate that she made contact with any officers. Minneapolis officials and local leaders have disputed claims that she posed an imminent threat. Family background and personal life. Good's life extended far beyond the tragic circumstances of her death. She had been married previously and was widowed, with a young son from that marriage as well as older children from a previous relationship. Friends and relatives remember her as deeply involved in creative pursuits, including writing and poetry, and as someone devoted to her family. Before moving to Minnesota, Good lived in Kansas City, Missouri, and had worked in roles such as a dental assistant and at a credit union. She also held a university degree in English and had won recognition for her writing. Reactions from officials and communities. The incident has drawn sharply contrasting responses from federal, state and local officials. The Department of Homeland Security has defended the ICE agent's actions as self-defense, with claims that federal officers had been harassed and faced violent behavior at the scene. This official perspective framed the shooting within the broader context of enforcement challenges. By contrast, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis city leaders have condemned the federal presence and characterization of the event, calling for a full and transparent investigation. Local authorities and civil rights groups have raised concerns about the escalation of enforcement actions and the loss of civilian life. Public outcry and protests. The fatal shooting has spurred demonstrations and vigils in Minneapolis and other cities across the United States. Hundreds gathered to honor Renee Good's memory and protest what many view as excessive use of force by federal agents. Public school closures and community vigils underscored the profound impact the incident has had on residents and families in the Twin Cities. Calls for accountability have also emerged from political figures and community advocates, urging federal and local agencies to ensure a thorough investigation into the circumstances of the shooting. Discussions continue about the broader implications of immigration enforcement activities and public safety in communities under heightened federal operations. Ongoing investigation. Both federal and local authorities, including the FBI and Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, are investigating the incident. The inquiry aims to determine the sequence of events that led to the use of deadly force, assess compliance with federal policies on the use of force, and clarify conflicting accounts provided by officials and video evidence. As debates over immigration policy and law enforcement authority intensify nationwide, the death of Renee Nicole Good remains a focal point for discussions about civil liberties, federal power and community protection.